Hello, hello, hello out there. It is Jeffrey J. McKinney, also known by some as Tech P, and this is the next episode of At Home on the Yard. At Home on the Yard is a place where we come and we welcome those that are contributing to things that are aligned with, I would say right now, the concept of things that for me are aligned with my visions and my feelings and my sentiments around my beloved Fisk University. And so today, and I should say that At Home on the Yard is also a space that's hosted inside of the community of Ontegration. And so if you want to learn more about that, you can visit www.ontegration.com and learn more about the community. But inside of this community, we want to make sure that we welcome in others who have the same type of feelings around and purpose and passion around HBCUs in that larger community. And so today we are joined by GW Sudberry. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. GW, thank you for joining. I want to, I usually start off first by giving the intro to how we met, but I'm gonna switch it up this time because you're always in front of the camera. I'm always watching you. I want to say, why did you choose to come and join At Home on the Yard and kind of get down with what we're doing at Ontegration?
Well, we met months ago, before a lot before a lot of my channel really blew up, and we'd had conversations, about integration and about what your purpose is and how you got here, and it just aligned with a lot of what I feel about things. And you're an HBCU grad, and Fisk is one of the schools we've been to and love, and that was kind of cool. We had that connection. We could have that discussion with somebody that'd been there that shared that same energy, and I don't know, we just hit it off.
Yeah, I remember it was, I want to say it was like a Saturday morning or Sunday morning. And I saw something that you posted. I don't remember specifically what it was, but something was like, reach out to him. And I think we were probably on the phone within 15 minutes. And I was having my coffee, and I think maybe I had a cigar on the back patio. And my wife was like, "Are you gonna cook breakfast or not?" I'm like, "I'm talking to the guy from Instagram. The guy that's going around and doing all of this work on behalf of HBCUs. We'll get breakfast in a moment." And so to now have continued up to this point, and I look back and it's been a struggle, but I can see progress. Tell us a little bit about what it is you do and why you do that.
We started the why. I'm a history geek for one. I got into it because of the history. I just found a story I'd never heard. Stories of success and genius and just these overwhelming contributions to society that I found in Black American history, and these HBCUs was the common thread among them all. And as I dove into it, it just blew my mind that how could I not know this? And I felt compelled, I talk to God every day. And I did a video about the history of HBCUs. And right after I released it, I looked at Anna, my girlfriend, and I said, why don't we go visit some? Because we're near Central State and Wilberforce, are 2.5 hours away. And then we went down to Simmons in Kentucky and Kentucky State. We just showed up and walked around because I studied the campuses before we went. And from that, it just, I don't know, something clicked in our heads like we have to do this. It changed our lives.
It's when I dreamed of kind of what I was wanting to build through Ontegration, it was like there's it's very difficult to identify those that actually, like, with their actions are speaking of who they are in a way that is embracing of all. And when I saw your work, I was like, wow. When and how did what is the vision? And then what was the process for it to crystallize and become clear for you?
Uh, it's, I think we all dare to be great in some way, in form, shape of our life. I've not a perfect man. I don't have family. I don't have a legacy. I was thinking, what do I leave behind? How did I make this world better? What can I do? And who? And I don't know why, but I love underdog struggle. I find such beauty in people that can fight and overcome. I don't know why I've always been attracted to that. And maybe because I kind of parallel that with my own life in a way, and I found that beauty and struggle in Black America. And when I started researching, then I started entering into the community and interacting, and I've had thousands of conversations. What it gave me is a better sense of identity of myself as a white guy. It gave myself a better sense of identity as America versus what I'm taught and what I'm now educating myself about. It's like the curtain got pulled back in this dramatic way. And I distinctly remember getting on my knees and telling God, I give up. I quit asking to help me. How can I help others? If it ain't gonna be about me, how can it be about somebody else? Because I got skills. I know I got mad skills in some areas. What can I do? And that week, my life changed. And he just started putting opportunities in front of me and ideas in my head. I'd love to tell you they're my own. They're not. There's no way. And I realized that was my purpose. I realized it's just my path. I'm 52 years old. I'm not going to live forever. And I got a short amount of time to make as big a difference as I can and open as many eyes as I can. And if I can do that to just a few people, and they get up that passion, and they do it to a few people, maybe in a few generations, we'll be all right.
In my mind, I had this vision for like this long 45-minute conversation between GW and I. And every question is just so perfectly aligned with who we are and what we want to demonstrate. When I listen to you talk about how you came about this particular pursuit of your purpose on this path, it sounds like I'm talking to myself or listening to myself talk about once-agration. And once-agration was built to address and provide resources to a set of specific issues, but also at a macro level, it is to be able to provide the GWs with the right set of resources to be able to go and pursue his purpose. It's very, very clear. And the challenge for people like GW and myself is that I've found it's very, very difficult to find people who wear their hat well to support us. My question would be for you, how has that been for you? What do you think about that particular challenge?
Well, being a white guy, stepping into Black American, speaking up for, against my own community. You mean that challenge? It's not really, it's, to be philosophical about it, growing up with, in the racist area in the South I did in Arkansas and the ideology I had. And then, like I said, God pulled back the veil on me, slowly and then yanked it off. And I started to see things I can't unsee. And to be honest, I didn't give two craps about my skin color. Do you know what I mean? Like growing up, white skin color wasn't something I focused on. I never had to. It wasn't a reason for me to think about. I wasn't persecuted or oppressed or hindered because of it. In some ways, I was celebrated, right? It doesn't have weight to me. So when I realize people are identified by their skin colors, I'm never going to be that. I'm not going to understand from that point of view, but I want to gain as much context and education as I can so that other people who look like me, I can speak in a way maybe they'll get through their heads in a creative and informative way that gets them to think. Because we all need to think more critically for ourselves, right? Not the indoctrination we've been taught in Yankee Doodle Dandy and all that crap. But if I can find a way to get people just to think, just a little shift in their perspective, then that can grow. Because if you're open to a little, you'll accept a lot. That's all we got to do.
Another segue softball for once-agration. One of the challenges that we saw was the algorithms of the other platforms. I think GW, the way that I described it to you and when I was pitching how diverse perspectives could support you in scaling your vision and your purpose is that you're out there touching a bunch of people, and every time you you meet someone and you tell them and they say, how can you connect with me? And you guys exchange social medias. Because of the algorithm, that's like catching a fish and releasing it. This is someone who just asked how they could connect with you, and you chose to put them on the other side of an algorithm that's designed for people not to be able to clearly connect with you. And so when I think about the power of being able to bring someone like you that has this very, 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 very valuable, unique perspective, and you're not the only one. There's a lot of I've had a lot of people that were not African American, that were white people that have loved and support me and still do. They call and check on me. I mean, honestly, they're my family. And so to see it and feel it and to be able to provide a space and a platform for someone like GW, as Tech P, it will be my pleasure. It will be my pleasure. So I'll say, I kind of been alluding to it. There's a partnership that we see going forward with diverse perspectives, supporting, building the impact that GW is envisioning for himself and his purpose. And so when we've talked about it, tell me, kind of your thoughts about what we've discussed and kind of how you envision it from your perspective.
Well, I think because as I expand my content, my platforms, I'm only on 2 platforms, TikTok and Instagram so far. I just haven't had time to do anything else. But I have hindrances with algorithms. That's a constant struggle to try to figure out. I'll get almost 300,000 followers on TikTok, and I may get 1,000 views on a video, and the next one may get 500,000. And you know what I mean? I use the same hashtag pattern, release time. So the algorithm hinders a lot. And to go into a platform to see where there's not one people can see directly what they want to see, it kind of makes me want to put more personal exclusive content on there because it's a free platform, so people can go there and see exactly what they want to see and connect that way.
I say that there's a shift that's about to take place. And, for me as a technologist, what I would like to make clear to everyone is that no one needs any money if there's an internet connection involved for you to prove who you are. That they may charge you for that. They may give you they may take your money and tell you that. But there's a thing called an IP address. Every internet connection has one, and it tells specifically where you are. And so this is how banks, when someone tries to use your identity to log in Zimbabwe or somewhere else, and that's not your pattern, or it's impossible for you to have been in 2 places at one time. This is how responsible managers of identity decide to fail your identity credentials, and then the next thing you know, you're forced to set a new password because there's been an attempt at a breach. And so the reason why I go in to that level of detail around that specific issue is because there was other social media platforms that said to humanity that they needed $14.99 to prove who they were. And so my question to humanity is, how long are we going to stay in business and in a relationship with someone and a platform that lacks integrity? That's a personal decision. But for me, I see an opportunity to now host a place where someone like GW can make the impact he was designed to make for those who choose to join Ontegration. And so, specifically, more succinctly, what I would say is we envision GW contributing and having a space and delivering content and partnering on events and whatever other ways the team at Diverse Perspectives can support him as he goes out and figures out all of these avenues that are opening up to his dreams. Let me give you a moment, GW, because you're so used to asking the questions. Let's do a role reversal. You asked me a few.
Why did you choose Fisk University?
Oh, wow. I would say that Fisk chose me. And the reason why I say that is because in 1997, my mother brought home a manila envelope with award letters and everything was set to go. I had been accepted to Fisk University. And I had never heard of it. I was actually going to go, in my mind, either to the University of Houston or Texas A&M. And so my mother kind of compelled me to say, hey, give it a shot. And I thought about it and gave it a little bit of thought. And I said, you know what? As I began to ask others in my community about what Fisk was, I always heard it associated with civil rights, and that was a strong theme in my community. And so, and that's probably why people would highlight that to me when I was asking around about it. And so I was attracted to that. So I would say I didn't do the work to get in, but I was attracted to the history of what others had done before me.
Yeah, because Ida B. Wells went there as an alumni from there, one of the creators of the NAACP.
I'll tell you what, man. When I think about the history of Fisk University, there are others that went there that I don't even like. They are historians of our university. My role, as I see it, and I even had a couple classmates that, just on a whim one night, I was in my back patio. They called me, and they said, we were having a conversation. They said, Jeff, we just want you to know that you're like our version of Elon Musk. And I was like, well, I don't really think that highly of Elon Musk, but I think I know what you're saying. And so, like, my purpose, as it relates to being a son of Fisk University, is to create a technology platform that would allow for those of us who choose in humanity to unite and go out and pursue delivering this world as our ancestors had longed for. And so, again, that's why, like, the reason what made me think about that is because I always want to make sure that I'm speaking about things that I am pretty informed on. And I know if we want to talk history, I can go get, matter of fact, I'm going to hook you up with some of them. I think you guys can make some dope content together.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Yeah. What else you got?
When's the last time you were at Fisk?
Man, that's somewhat of a sensitive subject. So homecoming was this past November, and I didn't make it to homecoming. And so the last time I was there at Fisk was November of 2022. That was the last time I was there. I didn't make graduation, and then I didn't make this past homecoming. And I had said to myself previously that there's no other place, and I don't think you will find another HBCU grad that will tell you otherwise. There's no other place that an HBCU grad can go over a 4-day span and get that kind of love anywhere else at any given time in a 365-day period. It's only one place that you can go for those 4 days. And so I can't afford mentally, I can't afford to miss too many of those. This year 2023 has been a year of sacrifice and suffering. And so I can tell you going forward, my plan is to be there every time I get an opportunity.
I don't want to rub it in, but I was there 3 weeks ago, and then I was there in July. I was there on Welcome Day, and Fisk is still beautiful. Since you hadn't been there in a while, I'll just let you know how much longer till you can climb the stairs in Jubilee Hall.
I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that. I think there's some kind of ritual. So this is the other thing about Fisk. It's full of rituals, and again, full of those historians who know all the rules. And even Fisk guys know that, like Jeff just comes and follows along, and it's there where he's supposed to be. So, and then if I break the rules, just know you guys know that I love my university. I mean, we're right now at home on the yard, and it's designed after my university. So I show my love in other ways. So I don't know. I'm sure there's an answer there. My historian friends, they'll be able to back me up on it. But I will say this though, and you were teasing me about being there more recently than I have. I'm a very strategic guy, and I do realize that there's opportunities for us to do very, very, very big things there in Nashville that would give me good reason to be there more often. And so
we love going to Fisk. We've met, you know, Jan Frederickson, the assistant or executive vice president, Brian Wallace, the dean of graduate studies. Shout out to you, Professor Vando Rogers. I want to give a shout out to all of them. We love going to Nashville, and they're your neighbors across the street, Tennessee State, and you got Meharry. We love Nashville, so yeah, we'd have to meet you there.
You know, I'll just say this, man. I've been very impressed with your work, so much so that I want to just open up the gifts that I have and make them available to support you. I think, you know, the content that you're creating and the platform that you're creating and the bridge that you're creating is one that is necessary, is needed. You know, even for you and I to be able to sit here and have a conversation and talk about it, and you know, me get to wear my pink hat, and you know, you get to wear you don't have a hat on today, but you get to wear whichever shirt you choose to wear that day.
Clark Atlanta.
Yeah, Clark Atlanta. Shout out to Clark.
We're going to Atlanta next weekend, so
yeah. I mean, your work has just been. I'm looking forward to helping quantify the impact. I should say that, because I believe that it's immense in the ability that we're going to create to do that in a place that has an algorithm that people get to choose you. I think is going to show us a lot. So with that said, you want to tell people where to find you currently, and then we already talked about where to be in the future.
Yes, on TikTok, I'm known as White George. That's just at White George or Mac Daddy Life. And Instagram, it's the Wit George. It's like white without an E, the Wit George. Only those two platforms, that's where I post all my content. And my Instagram is HBCU only. And TikTok, I'll have some other personal stuff or stuff I find interesting, but I focus strictly on HBCUs on Instagram.
All right, for me, my name is Jeffrey McKinney. I am also the techpreneur for the people right now, currently on Instagram. Contemplating maybe a retirement from Instagram. I'm not sure, and just going straight business and curating my art through the Ontegration side. So, but today, the techpreneur for the people is there, and also Ontegration. You can also find more information about this Ontegration community at www.ontegration.com. Again, GW, this is, you know, for us, it's not even the beginning. It's nowhere close to the end. This is just another conversation. I would say to you all, get used to seeing us together. We like each other. We're gonna even like each other even more as time progresses. And I look forward to changing the world with you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So that's it for this episode of At Home on the Yard. See you next time. Peace.